Hey, Joseph, JohnTheHutDweller here. Alright, I'm going to talk to you about. I got a message, I think it was from XCS3 or may have been from somebody else, but they were wondering about the chronology of events because I said I was a Muslim gone to atheism gone to orthodoxy, which that's true. But I had come into orthodoxy before having problems with orthodoxy and then having to come back again. And that was because I was in a very good parish, Holy Transfiguration Parish in Warrenville, Antiochian Orthodox, under Bishop Mark and Metropolitan Phillip. And this parish had Ukrainians, Bulgarians, Serbs, Russian. There were very few Arabs there. It was a church that was formed out of a group of evangelicals who converted to Orthodoxy. And that's how the church started, and they were accepted into the Antiochian Orthodox Church. And a few of them were made priests. Our priest was Father William Calderoni. He was a great priest. Father Bill was awesome. And this conversion happened in '87. I believe that's when Patrick Reardon and I forget the guy's other name came into Orthodoxy along with this group. They were evangelicals. And they came in. And that was my church. And I was chrismated in there into the church in '05. On the feast of the presentation of Theotokos into the temple, I was chrismated. They wouldn't rebaptize me, which is good. And I was at that parish for years, till about '08, '09, when Bill Morrison, and I'm naming him by name, he and two others who had a lot of money and didn't really like being around Orthodox people or foreigners and wanted more white Protestants like in Orthodoxy, together were in cahoots with either the bishop or the Metropolitan, probably both. And they took our parish. There was a group at Christ Church of Glen Ellen who the pastor, David Wilbur Elsworth, was pastor. He was a pastor of two churches before that, and they both, one rejected him and kicked him out. The last one collapsed into bankruptcy, and then he was at Christ Church of Glen Ellen for something like 15 years, and that was collapsing into bankruptcy, and half of his parish was going away because they thought he was a jerk, and they needed a new church. They wanted us to pick up the bill, and they wanted to merge churches with us and move our congregation into their building so they could save their building. Instead, what was done was overnight, William Elsworth, who never entered our parish before, wouldn't come to our parish when Father Bill was a priest. The night before, he was baptized and made a deacon. Then the next day, he was made a priest, and then the next day, he was our head priest of the parish. And he moved his congregation in, and he made it extremely clear that he didn't want any of us there. And he immediately started changing things. And our subdeacon even said, hey, you know what? I've never seen that done before in an Orthodox service. And he's like, oh, he liked it. He liked changing things about the liturgy. He also held many views that weren't Orthodox. And even about the church, we had all multiple different sizes of icons. When somebody was baptized or chrismated, they would be put with their God family. So you could look at icons, look at the groupings of the saints' icons, and people's patrons, like my godfather, his whole family, his godfather, me and my godbrother were all on this in the same grouping. All our patron saints were in that grouping, and it was like that, and it was cool. He came in, he wanted to take all the icons down and make sure all the icons were the same size. Now, we probably had about 400 icons on the walls of that parish. He wanted to take them all down. And he wound up pushing out within a year everybody, driving them out, everyone who was all 120 people who attended that parish. He drove out, and now it's him, Bill Morrison, and a few stragglers from his old church. Bishop Mark, we kept trying to email him, to call him. He would not speak to anybody. We were low for him. Finally, we got him to come, and he said he'd talk to us. And when we all went up to talk to him, he kicked everybody out except one person, and then yelled at that person, kicked him out, and that person never went back to the church. And that's somebody who supported Wilbur Elsworth 100%. And our subdeacon supported him 100%. Many people wound up falling into atheism for that. Now, I don't think they should be atheists. I think that's their fault. But the blame isn't solely on them. My godfather and his godfather and all of their families are all now atheists who hate the church. I can't leave Orthodoxy. It's part of me. I won't do it. I tried leaving it, and I still wound up finding myself praying and stuff like that because it's just in my bones. I love to pray. I love to meditate. I love icons. I love the liturgy. I'm madly in love with the Orthodox Church. So I had to come back. But I really was in a hateful atheist mood for a long time. And way back was very hard. And I truly was an atheist. I thought God had no part in this world. If there was a God, he didn't interact in this world at all. That kind of broke my faith as it broke many others. I don't think I ever, looking back from now, I don't think I ever lost my faith. I think there was a hand of God which is grabbing me and dragging me. I know that's kind of a Protestant view, but it's my mystical view that I hold. That somehow he sustained me. He didn't take his hand away from me. And I figure if it was true apostasy, I'd still be an atheist. But for me, it was. God didn't fight fair, and he dragged me back in through his irresistible love, I guess. And I believe in all these things. They may be Protestant terms, but in Orthodoxy, many things can be happening. But yeah, David Wilbur Elsworth with Bishop Mark and Metropolitan Phillip, 3 people who destroyed my parish. And Father Bill was culpable too, because he should have protected us. As of now, Metropolitan Phillip suspended all the bishops, and Bishop Mark walked away and became a bishop in the Russian church, which I'll explain the problems behind that in another video. But now there are only auxiliary bishops, and Orthodoxy does not have auxiliary bishops. So Metropolitan Phillip is acting like the Pope right now. I don't mean this video to offend anybody unless they're from the new Holy Transfiguration Parish, which is a robber parish as far as I'm concerned. They stole that church from us. And yes, I know every church is the bishop's church. But that was wrong, what they did, and they know what they did was wrong. I'm not going to say it this time.